What about 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1? Another important passage among those referred to briefly in the last chapter is 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. There shall be false teachers, denying the Lord that bought them. Clearly, these false teachers are lost, yet they have been bought with the blood of Christ. This is a clear denial of limited atonement. Though apparently accepted as teachers within the church, they were never saved, as is the case with those to whom Jude refers, who have crept in unawares, ungodly men, ordained to this condemnation. Jude chapter 4. This passage, too, is completely neglected by White and most other Calvinist apologists. Very few Calvinists have attempted to deal with scriptures such as Hebrews chapter 10, verse 29, and 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1, telling of the destruction upon those who despise the blood of the covenant wherewith they were sanctified, and despise the Lord that bought them. Sproul's Geneva Study Bible attempts to escape by simply ignoring the obvious contradictions of Calvinism. Vance cites most of those who have made such attempts. Charles Bronson insists that it approaches blasphemy to say that Christ shed his precious blood for some, and then, after all, they perished in hell. Then, what do these verses say? Dabney dismisses both verses because the language of Peter and that of Hebrews may receive an entirely adequate solution without teaching that Christ actually bought or sanctified any apostate, by saying that the apostles speak there ad hominem. Ad hominem? What does that mean in this context? There may be a solution that explains away such clear language. If there is, Calvinists haven't yet been able to agree upon it. Concerning those who Hebrews chapter 10 verse 29 says they were sanctified, Beck claims that they were sanctified but not saved. How can a Calvinist admit that any except the elect have been sanctified, as MacArthur clearly asserts in his study Bible? That those described in both passages are lost eternally cannot be questioned. Thus we are left with only two choices. 1. They were once saved and lost their salvation. Or 2. They were never saved, yet were purchased and sanctified by Christ's blood. Neither choice fits Calvinism. No wonder, then, that Calvinists generally avoid these two passages. Gill maintains that Christ himself is said here to be sanctified, which doesn't fit the context at all. Owen makes them mere professors of the faith of the gospel, with which we would agree, but that doesn't explain how these non-elect mere professors could be sanctified with Christ's blood. Other than a few isolated comments, most Calvinists are strangely silent on these two passages. Even in his Hebrews commentary, Pink avoids Hebrews chapter 10 verse 29. Surely limited atonement must be renounced. John 3:16 means what it says. Christ's blood was shed for the sins of the entire world, and in that sense all are sanctified. As Paul writes in 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 10, Christ is the Savior of all men, inasmuch as salvation has been purchased for all, even for those who reject him, and he is the Savior especially of those that believe, because they have believed the gospel, received Christ, and are thus saved eternally.